social work
is really satisfying.
A career in social work
is about bringing hope to people, about making a difference.
A career in social work is never boring.
It makes a big difference in people's lives.
A career in social work is
very colourful, never a dull moment.
A career in social work, I would say, is like having a passport. It will take you anywhere.
And you really have a chance to contribute to people's lives.
A career in social work is a career that is challenging but also really, really rewarding. And it's a career that doesn't set you in one direction, it sets you up with a set of skills where you can actually work in a whole lot of different areas. Social work is much, much more than child protection or counselling. It actually encompasses a huge range of jobs and opportunities, and I think that what I experience when I visit students in the field is I see all of that. In animating social work, I wanted to breathe life into it and make those connections between those people that are doing that wonderful work in the field and also the university, and find out ways that we can build a community of UWA social work alumni. And I saw that the 100-year anniversary of the university was a really good opportunity to actually have some of that work being shown and demonstrated.
In my room of treasures, shadows often play.
I've had a very diverse career in social work.
Currently, I'm a child and adolescent mental health professional in the Kimberley.
The last few years I've been in a school in the Catholic system, so I'm a school counsellor. And I do classroom programs for social emotional learning. Everything that's to do with the children's lives, there's a risk that they may have some issues, problems of course, and that's where they have a social worker on site to help them when they have these difficulties. When they come to school, they have lots of issues to do with home perhaps, but very much at school as well with the friendships, and they have to learn everything about keeping safe, drug ed, how to make friends, etc. And fortunately for me, because it's work I love, I'm able to do those sort of programs. We use a lot of play therapy, which includes things like sand tray therapy, using little figurines, and they actually play out scenarios from the back of their mind in that very sand tray, and so the child will be able to work through some feelings, etc. Fortunately, I've got other training. I'm a dance therapist and I've developed puppetry as a skill, therapeutic puppetry. So I'm able to use puppetry one-on-one with children if there's something really tricky for them to talk about. We're really hopefully helping children in a very, very creative medium to process pretty tough stuff.
And then we were not a best friend, and then we were a best friend, and now we're not a best friend.
Okay, so who's your backup friend? It's lifelong learning that's important. So you get your first degree and it's in a certain direction. For me it was social work, but never stop at that. Always keep your inquiring mind going.
I think a career in social work is your lifelong commitment to the society and to the people that you're living with.
At the moment I work for the Office of the Public Advocate as a guardian. The Public Advocate is appointed by the State Administrative Tribunal for people who don't have capacity but don't have anyone willing or able to act as their sort of decision maker. So a Public Advocate's appointed, delegates to a guardian, and the guardian makes decisions in regards to accommodation, services, treatment decisions, contact, whatever the tribunal determines as being required really. The advice I'd give to anybody thinking of doing social work at UWA is go for it. It opens up so many opportunities in relation to work. Social work to me is a career, but employment can be so varied. It's DCP to DSC to working in the community with people in policy. There's so many opportunities.
I think my career in social work has actually really been empowering for myself. And it's really more of a personal journey as well, because I've been a child in care. Well, I'm actually the executive manager of Juraminda, which is a service of centre care. And my role there as the executive manager is to oversee all the Indigenous programs. I love working with people. I love working with our kids. I love working in our community, and doing social work allows you to do all that sort of work. at the moment we're doing a lot of, we're looking at life story work and how that can actually be developed and implemented within the work that we do as well. So it's really looking at things that would suit the families, and that's not intrusive, but it's also building on their life experiences and their knowledge. You know, I found the most rewarding part of working as a social worker, but as an Indigenous social worker, is those cultural and community connections and building those relationships. And once you're able to build those relationships, the work that you do and you're allowed to do them with families and with children is very rewarding. You know, that's sort of what drives me. That we can provide the best care that we can for Aboriginal children in care here, but in a cultural responsive way. You know, when you see people change and, they want to make those changes, I think that's the most rewarding experience for me. But I think, in the end, you have to have a passion for the work. It's like most things. If you don't have that passion, you're not gonna get there, because it is challenging work.
I think as I've got older, what I've found is I like to work more and more closely with people, not on a broad scale, but I'm interested in what people do, what their families are like, what their stories are like, and I find that's the area that I work best in, where I can assist people with their own decisions about the problems that they have, but within the context of their own environment.
Now, in my work in the Kimberley, I travel a lot to remote Indigenous communities, and that's an incredible privilege and a huge challenge to work across cultures, and I get so much out of it and so much learning from that.
Growing up with parents that are profoundly deaf, I think gave me a pretty unique perspective on the world, and so I guess understanding from their point of view how hard it is to fight for having the rights that most people experience in the community. As their interpreter, I was kind of the interface with a lot of different providers, and I think from there I guess meant that I was much more sensitised to the reality of people that don't have it easy. First Home Project is an initiative that we started as a way of providing affordable accommodation to recently arrived refugee families. We live in one house, we've got two other houses, we're their landlord, but they're also our family. And so it's just kind of a beautiful combination in which we share life together. In the process, they develop a rental history and hopefully get a chance to be able to get themselves settled and find employment and learn English. And I guess learn about some of the realities of what it means to live in Australia. Studying my degree at UWA gave me the opportunity to, I guess, deepen my understanding around community development theory. And so that just really affirmed my commitment to, I guess, a form of social work that's not just about working with individuals, but how you work with the community, how you look at the system in which our clients exist in and trying to address those things. When I was doing the course, I just had amazing young people and older people that I was around, and so really kind of got to really connect with them and engage, and definitely was able to kind of get a sense of community just through learning together, asking questions together, trying to support each other in terms of the process of doing social work.
What's been really interesting in talking to people as they've done these interviews is the sense of coming together and what they can get from each other. So already that sort of making those connections between people that are in the field and students has been quite powerful.
So I'm doing action research.
One thing that really struck me was the diversity of the different positions that people hold, and conversations about how many different areas they've worked in, and that's quite inspiring at this end to think we don't need to necessarily lock into a specific area, but see where our social work journey takes us. There was a lot of richness in what people were saying about their different experiences and work roles. So yeah, that was what really inspired me.
Yeah, I think it definitely gives you energy when you see some positive outcomes for people. It spurs a lot of people on, and I can see why people that are involved in the career, they stick with it and they get so much enjoyment out of it.
It feels at this very early stage, but from conversations, it's a really constant learning process where people are always learning from the people that they work with and getting skills and more knowledge to work with other people from those experiences. So yeah, I think that there's that exchange of support, I guess.
I think I've never done anything that's been just right, like doing this course. I haven't regretted it. I just feel I'm at the right place at the right time, and I love what I do. And I think I'm destined to be a social worker.
Spiders steal